celebrate that you celebrate.
No, literally celebrating.
Literally, like, oh, I'm glad he's dead. Listen,
well, and the thing is, I can see their point of view, especially if you're a woman,
right?
Because he's voted against choice legislation, hundreds of times, and he's been. I mean, he hasn't been as bad on immigration as some of them,
right?
But he's been bad, and his war votes are atrocious.
They are.
But he was. The thing is, just pragmatically, he was sick, was not voting, and taking up a Senate seat from their side.
But with something that he did actually believe in, he went in, made that vote for the healthcare bill, and said, "All right, well, I'm done. Goodbye."
Well, thankfully,
But the thing is,
so at
even
least he stood up for something.
Briefly, the thing is, though,
it
was
took
only
81 years, though.
Yeah, but it was only briefly, because then when they went to the tax cut bill, a lot of the things that he didn't agree with in the healthcare bill were in the tax cut bill, which he voted for. So it seemed like at the time it was actually just kind of a middle finger to Trump. It seemed like that's what he was going for.
Yeah.
Well, it worked.
Well, yeah, and I imagine you'd be pissed at the guy who, avoided the draft and then called you not a war hero.
That would piss me off, too.
Yeah, like, I imagine that would make him very angry, so it doesn't shock me that he did that. But yeah, the real thing is, just pragmatically, like, he was taking up that seat and he wasn't voting. And that was good until, the midterms when maybe we could flip it.
Right.
But now, it's going to be very rough.
So you're replacing a Republican essentially with a Republican.
But you're replacing a non-voting sick Republican with a healthy,
but
probably much further right Republican.
But that's only
potentially for a couple of months.
Well, that's true.
No, because his Arizona's not up till 2020.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I've been conflicted with this whole thing from the very beginning, but I still have respect for the man in certain ways. Politically speaking, not really. He was a hero. If you ever go through his story about him in Vietnam, that alone is why I send respect to his way. He had a chance to leave Vietnam because his dad was an admiral.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
and chose against it.
And he chose against it, and as a result, saved other people's lives. That's a hero. I don't care what you say.
Yeah,
more of a hero than I've been.
More than I'll ever be.
But it makes his votes on war very curious.
I know.
I don't understand.
That's what I mean. Politically speaking, it is what it is.
And I don't know if Lindsey Graham served or not, but probably not, because
they are good friends.
Because at the time when he would have served, there wasn't any don't ask, don't tell. But
ultimately, though, that's really my only respect. There was that one really amazing moment, I guess you can say, when he was running against Obama in 2008. When the really shaky future Trump voter was like, I don't trust Obama because he's a Muslim, and McCain took the mic out of her hand, and was like, no, he's a very good, upstanding citizen that I just don't see eye to eye with on politics.
Yeah.
So I know it's one. I know it's just one moment out of so many bad ones. But that's a respectable moment.
Of course, the problem is, and it always is with McCain, that is on the flip side of him bringing Sarah Palin to the attention of the entire nation.
I know.
I could see my house from here.
I know. Yeah. Well, I can see Russia from my house. I know. Yeah. I know. Listen, like
what newspaper do you read? Oh. All of them.
All of them. So, yeah, like I said, I'm very conflicted, but I don't really know how to react to this.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
Rest in peace, for sure. But, okay, moving on, I guess.
Yeah, moving on, yeah.
Yeah, is that fair to say?
I think that's fair.
So, yep.
Moving on?
Yep.
All right. See you, John.
That's all we got.
So now can I make jokes now? Like now that we're over the segment?
Yeah, go for it.
No, I don't got anything. I had the one. That was it.
All right. So from one senator's death to a story that we have talked about so much on this fucking show, and I don't know. Another shooting happened over this week.
Oh, yeah.
Another fucking shooting. And you know what? I'm happy Joe is here. Because I am, because you said something that I didn't know. You own a gun.
Yeah.
So we're going to get a different perspective for once.
Well, I own it and I carry it. So I have like the proper permits for it. I'm allowed to carry it around, and it's all wonderful and great.
I'm glad I haven't pissed you off that much then. Okay,
No.
This is a weird one too, by the way.
Well, hold on. Before you keep going, that's
go on.
one thing about having the permit is being a responsible gun owner.
Tell that to Americans.
If this goes worldwide, I'm on it. I'm sorry, nationwide.
This is a fucked up story. This comes out of Jacksonville, Florida. All right. There was a shooting at a Madden tournament. You know, the video game.
Yeah, I know
the game.
Yeah, the game.
The terrible video game, by the way.
Fuck Madden.
It's such a fucking stupid
terrible
game. God damn it. It's been around for like 30 years, and they still fucking suck at making it.
Yeah, it's about right, actually. It's been around a long time.
Yeah, a long time, right?
Yeah.
3 dead, 11 injured in this shooting. This comes from HuffPo. I'll read a little bit from this just so we can have an idea of what happened. I'll try to read. Obviously, my reading ability is not that great. A gunman opened fire during a video game tournament in Jacksonville, Florida on Sunday, killing 2 people and then himself. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office confirmed Sunday that 3 people were killed and 11 were injured during the esports event at the Jacksonville Landing Shopping Mall, which is located in the city's downtown area. The shooting took place at the Chicago Pizza restaurant.
Maybe that's why.
It was Chicago Pizza, but they brought a little bit of Chicago with them.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Well, maybe the guy was just angry. He's like, that's not even pizza.
Yeah.
This is not deep dish. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Authorities are working with the FBI to confirm the suspect as David Katz, who's 24 years old, was from Baltimore, Maryland. There are no other outstanding suspects at this time. The sheriff told reporters the suspect used at least 1 handgun and had been competing in the event.
Now, Tom, is he an immigrant by chance?
I didn't read ahead.
No. I'll answer that for you. No.
Okay.
Is
he Muslim?
No.
So that's why the president hasn't said anything
his
about it.
name is, if this helps, by the way, Austin.
Oh, okay.
David Bread Katz. That was his nickname, Bread Katz.
Bread?
Yeah.
Why was that his nickname?
Was
I
it
think
wheat
that's,
or white?
I think that's him.
Oh, well,
Probably.
that makes
I'm
sense.
assuming white.
Definitely white bread.
I'm assuming white bread. So I guess he lost. I'm trying to,
Well, usually you don't shoot people after you win.
No. Well, usually, but it's America. Trump's America, nonetheless. So anyway,
I feel like this is sort of been the perfect moment to play Childish Gambino's "This Is America."
I know. If we wouldn't
Where's your
get sued,
soundboard?
if we wouldn't get sued for that. All right, I want your opinion first, and then I want you, because you are the gun carrier in this conversation.
Go ahead, Austin.
Okay. Well, first I'd like to say that, of course, it's horrible that happened again, and it seems like it happens a lot in this country.
Although it hasn't happened in at least a month.
That's not true.
No, you're right. It's actually not true at all. We just haven't covered.
It hasn't
every
happened to a group
shooting.
of white kids in a month.
Right. Exactly.
On a national level, anyway. And
good call.
And it is interesting that I don't think I've heard anything from the White House about it yet. Other than, I wonder if they sent out a thoughts and prayers.
They probably
did.
Yeah,
There's a lot of thoughts and prayers getting thrown around.
Yeah. They help.
always
they
a lot
help.
of thoughts and prayers.
Joe, listen, I know you're not the most religious person in the world, but they do help.
Wrong.
Well, I've sent them to a couple people, too. I sent them to Paul Manafort. My thoughts and prayers.
He kind of needs it, though.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Yeah, it's helping him a lot, too, I see.
Yeah, well, he tried to cut a deal with Robert Mueller, and that didn't turn out
he
so
may
good.
only face 180 years in jail here. That's it, yeah.
Well, luckily, he's only like 180, so...
Yeah, I know.
But, I mean, it is interesting that when it doesn't fit the right narrative, then... the Republicans don't talk about it. The White House doesn't talk about it.
Nope.
I'm sure Fox will barely mention it.
They might. I bet you they covered it quickly.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you there's not going to be a follow-up. And unfortunately, because it's a, quote, small incident.
Oh, yeah.
Only 3 people
How
died.
scary is that?
Yeah.
That's a small incident.
But the thing is, wall to wall on Fox right now is that girl who was killed by the supposed undocumented immigrant.
Oh, yeah.
Who might not be undocumented, actually.
Right.
And they're like, look, this could have been prevented, but when 3 people die or more, which happened in a lot of these shootings,
I'll wait till it's my turn. Sorry.
A lot of them, they're like, oh no, there's no way this could have been prevented.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't. So if they're the right color or have the right ethnicity, then we can worry about it. But if not, they're like,
I mean, this
what
kid,
are you gonna do?
this kid was, from what I see, if this is the picture of him, he's a white 24-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Just a normal.
He's not a normal 24-year-old
well, not.
kid.
I guess not normal.
No,
Right.
and I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because he. Is it my turn now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen.
So this
is
motherfucker, and this is the problem that I have with everything that goes on in this the whole gun debate and everything like that. Okay. So you have responsible gun owners and then you have not responsible gun owners. He is the perfect example of not responsible because you have someone who is diagnosed with depression, extremely diagnosed. These are the things that I saw on the news the day of. He's diagnosed with depression. He was in a mental hospital for 6 fucking months, and then he was able to buy a gun.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So how is that okay?
Didn't Obama try to stop that?
Yeah.
Wasn't that an Obama thing? And then Trump.
Well, he actually did stop it.
He did.
Yeah.
And then Trump
reversed it.
it.
So how is that a possibility that someone like that can buy a gun legally? 2 of them. He only used 1, but he bought 2 of them.
Right.
Well, let's see.
By the way, this is coming from a gun owner.
Who's
I want to make that
and you know
fucking
what?
clear.
It doesn't matter if I'm a gun owner or not. Something needs to be done, whether or not it's fucking control or whether or not it's about making sure that these guns get into the right hands or the wrong hands.
No.
That needs to be prevented.
The problem-
if someone has a mental health issue, they cannot have a fucking gun.
I agree.
Well, Tom, who's one of the GOP's biggest donors again?
The NRA.
The NRA, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And what is their stance on gun sales?
Just sell them.
To anybody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your right as an American
Yeah.
to have one. No, it's not.
Which is confusing because I'm sure.
Just because it's in the Constitution of having them doesn't mean that it's a right.
Well, it's not. I mean,
Technically speaking, yes, it's a right, but it should be a privilege to have one.
Well, actually, a lot of constitutional scholars think that the Second Amendment was misinterpreted by a right-leaning Supreme Court for the purpose of selling more guns.
Exactly.
Yeah. But, because I'm sure they were talking about that every American has a right to bear arms.
Right.
Like the actual arms of bears.
Yes, if I shot a bear, he should be hanging on my wall.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's they've taken, and the NRA didn't used to be so radical either, but they've taken a radical position that the more guns sold, the better, no matter the reason.
The other issue I really have with this whole situation down in Jacksonville is that you have a video game competition, right? And I don't know about you guys, but that's like an escape for us. We go out, we play video games with our friends.
Exactly.
Like, think about where can you even be safe anymore?
Well,
you can't be safe in schools.
Well, the thing
you
is,
can't be safe at video game tournaments.
Yeah.
You can't be safe in church, especially if you're not a little boy.
Yeah.
Like, you can't go through anything.
Or if you're black, we could be honest with you.
Yeah.
Say if you're black.
But the thing is, if you're just talking about shootings, I mean, that was like the last entertainment thing that they hadn't hit. Because they got a concert.
They got the movies. They got the concerts.
They got clubs.
Schools,
they had the gay club in Orlando.
And now,
what's left?
You know what?
There's nothing left.
Florida, in particular, has had.
But of
Florida's
course,
a really fucked up state. Let's be real.
It is, but I mean, like, maybe look at Florida and say, hey, what exactly is Florida doing incorrectly?
Well, first they elected a giant walking penis as their governor.
True. That's very true.
And that's literally true. Go look up a picture of Rick Scott.
I know, it's
he literally looks like a walking penis.
I guess,
and not in the good way.
my problem is, not my problem, but the problem is, of course, something needs to get done, but there's these stupid people who own guns who think that we're trying to take away the guns.
And that's the thing. I don't know what the solution actually is.
Well, the thing is,
obviously, number one, stop allowing people like this to have guns.
Yes,
but the thing
put that back into
Tom,
order.
But even it's something like 70% of even gun owners think there should be more restrictions.
Well,
it's the NRA. It's not even the gun owners.
I know.
So it's all about the money. Hey,
yeah,
go figure.
It really
course,
is.
yeah.
It really
Go figure.
is. It really is. That was fun and all, but we have to move on. We have other things to talk about. All right. The next story that we need to talk about is actually an extremely important one, and it happens. Something similar happened in Pennsylvania a few months back. This time, it's happening in another potential swing state, a state that has turned blue several times, and that's North Carolina. North Carolina just recently, the judges in North Carolina announced that the district lines, the heavily gerrymandered lines, are unconstitutional, and they have to be redrawn. And the kicker is before the midterms.
Yeah, that's what I was guessing the kicker would be.
So now we're going to redistribute everything, and everything is going to change right before one of the more important times of the year.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, that sounds pretty good.
Look.
Well, in this case, yeah, it is good actually.
Yeah.
If you looked at Pennsylvania before we redrew our lines, it was disgusting. You can tell that they were fixed to support somebody. And then you looked at the numbers in the state, and it was